What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Should have like and sub, and let's get into this. Been some tough times for Ubisoft. I mean, really, a couple tough years for Ubisoft if you look at their actual stock prices and profit on their video games. And it ain't much. It's just been declining year after year after year, with very few exceptions. And Ubisoft X Defiant is not one of those exceptions. So just a couple months ago in August, we brought you this story about how X Defiant was continuously declining in player number and a lack of player spending. And it's that lack of player spending, specifically, obviously, in DLC, in-game packs, cosmetics, etc., which people that were playing it were like, yeah, cosmetics aren't very good. The dyes, the other things, the outfits you can get, it's not worth spending money on. And then it was the issue of player base, seeming that across all platforms, they were struggling to see 20,000 people, which when you look at games like Concord that came out, hey, 20,000 people is great. And obviously this has been able to survive. But we have seen Ubisoft's stock and just across the board, goodwill of any type gone from them. A large part of that was Star Wars Outlaws. This at the time in September was predicting that it would underperform, and it has. It has significantly. We see they've actually cut it up to 40%, their expectations now on this. Large part of that was because it released in a broken, horrible state, and the patch that they released forced everyone who spent extra money to play the game 3 days early to redo all of their playthroughs in order to actually complete the game. Then we saw we saw Assassin's Creed Shadows, and their whole collapse of delaying the game all the way into February, and specifically citing Star Wars Outlaws and its buggy reception as one of the reasons. And if it just so happens to release in Black History Month, in February, when you have Black Yasuke, who is already a controversial figure, but now they can just be like, oh, you racist, you just don't like him because he's black, as opposed to the historical and gameplay issues that a rampaging 7-foot tall black man in ancient feudal Japan represents when you're playing an Assassin's Creed, but I digress. So all of that, though, the original rumor of X Defiant and the downgrading and just horrible atmosphere of Ubisoft has led to this confirmation, more or less, that, yeah, Ubisoft appearing to confirm that X Defiant is struggling. You have the CEO, Yves Guillemot, appearing to confirm those rumors we talked about, that even though it's a free-to-play shooter, of course, it makes its money on the DLC and other things like that, that it's behind expectations. So at the end of August, of course, we got that report that it was declining and struggling to find 20,000 people across all of the platforms, not just PC, Steam. Even shared that if things did not turn around by season 3, it risks losing all of its support, in which case, bye, Felicia. We're going to straight up shut down. And for comparison, other team shooters like Apex Legends regularly have over 50,000 people. Valve's Deadlock at the last 24 hours concurrent of 119,000, and even Team Fortress, Jesus, had a 24-hour peak of 56,000. Old school Counter-Strike 2, it's still around 1.3 million concurrent players. I used to pay $2 an hour in an internet cafe to play Counter-Strike over LAN. And you'd yell at whoever was at computer 30 for camping. While the exact numbers are not confirmed by Ubisoft's, Yves Guillemot, the CEO, did admit that the reason the company lowered its second quarter revenue expectations 30% from 500 million to 350 to 370 was, of course, due to not just the soft sales for Star Wars Outlaws, but also X Defiant. And obviously it's a free-to-play game, so he doesn't mean that sort of sales. He means the lack of profit from DLC. They also mentioned that Guillemot responded, it mostly reflects the softer than expected sales for Star Wars Outlaws. We had behind expectations for X Defiant, which will give you a bit more detail at the end of October. Yeah, I bet you will. A drastic shift from the tone that we heard back during the first quarter sales report, where they talked about how much faith they had in the project, and funny how that works out. And of course, just the blame it on Star Wars Outlaws seems to be what they're all about. It's what they've done for the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it's what they're doing for this delay. Also said that the game that topped the viewer charts acquired more than 10 million players within the first 2 weeks, with, at the time, but it's not seeing that. So, claiming that the game had over 1 million unique players in the first 2.5 hours, over 8 million in its first week. Well, still behind expectations. I don't know any of my friends who have played this. Maybe Great Dead Pulio played it for a little bit. I myself tried to get into it, and I just couldn't get behind any of the classes, which is crazy because you think it's a bunch of classes from other Ubisoft games, Far Cry, Watch Dogs, things like that. You think it would be great, but it wasn't. Let me know if you've played this. Let me know if this is shocking to you at all. Either way, let me know. Make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're gonna do that, thank you.
Well, bye.